Welcome to a journey unlike any other. What you are about to hear is not an ordinary psychology lecture, not a dry academic dissection of the mind. This is the world's most powerful collection of secrets about human behavior, a map of manipulation, a blueprint of hidden persuasion. The knowledge you are about to gain is, quite literally, the equivalent of holding superpowers in your hands. Why? Because if knowledge is power, then psychology, the understanding of the human mind, is the most dangerous, potent, and transformative knowledge of all. It shapes wars and peace, crime and justice, religion and rebellion, love and betrayal. It is the invisible thread woven through every choice, every persuasion, every deception humanity has ever known. Before we start, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and hit the bell icon for daily dark psychology updates. Don't forget to watch my other videos for more valuable content. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Introduction: The Hidden World of Dark Psychology. This is dark psychology. Not the light side of human behavior that helps us grow and heal, but the shadow. The hidden principles that allow a select few to bend others to their will without detection. These are the tactics used by cult leaders, political manipulators, charismatic seducers, corporate sharks, and master con artists. They are the same techniques that can make a population follow a dictator, a victim love their abuser, or an unsuspecting stranger hand over their secrets with a smile. And until now, they have been buried, hidden deep in dusty academic journals, encrypted within case studies, locked away in the minds of the few who dared to use them. But what if all of this could be distilled, simplified into a form anyone could understand, absorb, and apply? That's exactly what this series delivers. No PhD required, no secret membership needed. Just you, me, and the most dangerous truths of psychology ever revealed. Section 1.1: Why Dark Psychology Matters. Think about it. Every advertisement you see, every headline you read, every persuasive speech that lingers in your mind, all of it is built on psychology. From the color of a company's logo, to the rhythm of a preacher's sermon, to the subtle tone of voice your friend uses to convince you to agree. Now imagine if you were fully aware of those tactics. Imagine if you could recognize them instantly. Or, even more powerful, imagine if you could use them yourself, to influence, to defend, to lead, or to protect. That is why this knowledge matters, because once you see the hidden machinery behind human influence, you will never unsee it again. Section 1.2: A Glimpse into the Shadows. Let's be clear, this isn't psychology as your school textbooks described it. We're not only talking about memory, emotion, and personality. We're talking about hypnotism, brainwashing, deception, the covert tricks of con artists and manipulators, the subtle cues that bypass your logic and go straight into your subconscious. You see, most people walk through life thinking they are in control of their choices, that they buy what they want, love who they choose, and believe what they've personally decided. But in truth, much of what they choose has been planted, carefully, invisibly, by someone who knows the principles of dark psychology. Section 1.3: The Shield or the Sword. And here is the most important point you must understand from the very beginning. Dark psychology is neutral. It is neither good nor evil. It is simply power. Like fire, it can warm your home or burn it to the ground. Like a blade, it can protect or destroy. The only difference is the hand that wields it. Some will use it to manipulate, exploit, and enslave. Others will use it to defend, protect, and expose the manipulators for what they are. And now, that choice will be yours. Section 1.4: What's Coming Ahead. Over the next chapters, we will descend into the underworld of human influence. We'll explore the mechanics of brainwashing, the sinister trio of personality traits known as the Dark Triad, the seductive arts of psychological conquest, and the chilling case studies of history's greatest manipulators. From Rasputin to Hitler, to modern con artists and cult leaders. Each principle will be explained clearly, each tactic broken down step by step, and most importantly, every lesson will be tied to real-world examples, so that you can see dark psychology not as theory, but as practice, as lived experience that continues to shape our world today. Section 1.5, The Beginning of Awareness. By the time you finish this journey, you will not be the same. You will notice manipulation in conversations, advertising, politics, even in your closest relationships. You will recognize when someone is trying to install beliefs in your mind without your consent. You will see through flattery, fear tactics, false authority, and charm. And, should you choose, you will know how to use those same techniques yourself, with the precision of a surgeon and the subtlety of a whisper. This is the introduction to dark psychology. The door has opened. Step carefully, because once you enter, there is no going back. Chapter 2. Brainwashing. How minds are reprogrammed. Here is the detail. Section 2.1. The Unseen Chains. Picture this. A person walks into a room, the same person you knew yesterday. They smile, they talk, they seem normal. But something has changed. Their words no longer sound like their own. Their eyes are fixed with an eerie certainty. Their thoughts, their beliefs, their choices, no longer theirs. They've been rewired. This is brainwashing, the silent theft of identity. The hidden reprogramming of the mind until someone swears allegiance to ideas, causes, or people they once would have rejected. And the scariest part, they believe it was their own choice. Section 2.2. The Step-by-Step Trap. Brainwashing is not a single event. It is a process. Slow, calculated, deliberate. Step 1. Isolation. The victim is separated from familiar voices, cut off from family, friends, and the anchors of reality. With no alternative viewpoints, the manipulator becomes their only source of truth. Step 2. Breaking down identity. Through humiliation, exhaustion, or relentless repetition, the old self begins to dissolve. Doubt creeps in. The victim starts questioning everything they once believed. Step 3. Installation of new beliefs. The manipulator replaces that crumbling identity with a ready-made worldview. It might be religious, political, or ideological, but it is absolute. A closed system where every doubt has a pre-packaged answer. Step 4. Reinforcement. The new beliefs are repeated, rewarded, celebrated. The victim feels a rush of belonging, of certainty. They think they have discovered the truth, when in reality the truth has been rewritten inside them. Section 2.3. Why it works. The genius of brainwashing lies in this. The victim doesn't feel controlled. They feel free. They feel enlightened. They feel like they've chosen these beliefs themselves. That is why brainwashing is not just powerful, it is permanent. The victim defends their manipulators. They fight for them. They sacrifice for them. And even after escape, many return, praising the very people who enslaved them. Section 2.4. The Loss of Self. Brainwashing's greatest crime is not the theft of beliefs, but the theft of identity. Victims lose their names, their pasts, their sense of self. Cults often give new names to initiates, a symbolic death of the old self. Once this transformation takes root, behavior shifts drastically. A mother abandons her children to serve a cult. A student turns from books to bombs. A once ordinary young man drives a car filled with explosives into strangers he has never met. This isn't fantasy. It is history. It is now. Section 2.5. The Aftermath. A mind in ruins. Those who escape brainwashing rarely walk away unscathed. Many suffer post-traumatic stress disorder, the same scars seen in war veterans, nightmares, flashbacks, a broken sense of trust. Some victims cannot rebuild, some relapse, drawn back into the very cages they once escaped. Their captors live on inside them, whispering in their minds like ghosts. It is Stockholm Syndrome at its deepest. Love for the captor, loyalty to the abuser, even when freedom is theirs to keep. Section 2.6. Why you must understand this. You may think brainwashing only happens in faraway cults, or in terrorist training camps, or in secret prisons. But the principles are everywhere. In the rhetoric of political extremists, in online echo chambers, in manipulative relationships, Everywhere a vulnerable mind can be isolated, broken down, and rebuilt, brainwashing is waiting. Section 2.7. The Shield of Awareness. But here's the truth that matters most. Awareness is the only real defense. The moment you can see the process, you weaken it. When you recognize isolation, when you feel someone is dismantling your identity, when you hear absolute answers for every doubt, that is your alarm bell. That is the moment you step back and say, "This is not my voice. This is not my thought. This is not me." Dark psychology's greatest weapon is invisibility. Once it is exposed, it loses its grip. This is the anatomy of brainwashing. A theft of identity so complete, victims believe they gave it away willingly. And as we move forward, we will uncover the darker forces that build upon this, the traits, the personalities, the predators who perfect this craft. Enter the Dark Triad. Chapter 3. Covert Emotional Manipulation, CEM. How feelings are sneakily stolen. Here are the details. Section 3.1. What exactly is covert emotional manipulation? Covert emotional manipulation, or CEM, is the art of changing another person's emotional weather without them ever knowing a storm is coming. It's not loud abuse. It's invisible influence. It's the slow editing of someone's feelings so that their inner compass points where you want it to point. Section 3.2. Breaking down the term. Covert, hidden, emotional, targeting feelings. Manipulation, secret steering. Put together, it's steer feelings secretly. Section 3.3. Where it appears. The 4 primary arenas. CEM hides in 4 places: professional, personal, romantic, and family life. In the office, the boss who subtly makes you anxious. In friendships, the pal who always leaves you owing them. In romance, the partner who moves the boundary posts while you're sleeping. In families, the relative who plays the guilt card until you surrender. Section 3.4. The manipulative types you'll meet. Meet the catalog of manipulators: the love bomber, the guilt weaver, the gaslighter, the martyr faker, the silent withdrawer. Each has a signature, and once you can spot the signature, the trick loses half its power. Section 3.5. Classic CEM Tactics. Love bombing. Imagine someone cranking affection to 11 immediately. Presents, calls, praise. It's intoxicating, but it's calibration, designed to create dependency. Positive reinforcement. Intermittent positive reinforcement. They switch from giving you everything to rewarding you only when you behave how they want. The unpredictability makes you chase approval. Reality denial. Gaslighting. Start small. You're remembering that wrong. Then escalate. You're losing it. Over months, the victim doubts memory, feeling, sanity. The manipulator becomes the trusted mapmaker of reality. Emotional withholding. Quiet becomes a weapon. Withhold warmth, withhold attention. People will contort themselves into apologizing just to make the silence end. Section 3.6. Real-world examples and microscripts you can hear. Listen for lines like, "You're too sensitive." "I only did that because I care," and "You always overreact." These sentences are designed to reframe you, to place fault where it isn't. Hearing them daily is a slow drip erosion. Section 3.7. Defense and practical tips. If you suspect CEM, document conversations, get external perspective, set small boundaries early, and call out gaslighting confidently. "I remember it differently." Don't demand proof. You only need to name the pattern to reclaim power. Section 3.8. Chapter close. Takeaways. CEM succeeds because it feels like comfort. That's the trap. Once you understand the calibration, love, reward, withdrawal, you can stop mistaking it for affection. Chapter 4. Dark persuasion. When influence has no morals. Here are the details. Section 4.1. The difference between persuasion and dark persuasion. Persuasion can save lives. Dark persuasion destroys them. The difference? motive and outcome. Positive persuasion's motive, benefit. Dark persuasion's motive, self-service, cruelty, or both. Section 4.2, motivations that drive. Dark persuaders, greed, power, revenge, thrill. In some cases, pure hunger for control. The dark persuader does not ask, "Is this right?" They ask, "Will this work?" Section 4.3, tactics of the trade. The long con, how trust is built over months, then exploited. Graduality, the foot in the door staircase. Start tiny, escalate. False dichotomies and reframes. If you were smart, you'd... Reciprocity and debt structuring, small favors that create obligation. Two-request rule, door in the face plus then close. Make an outrageous ask, then retreat to the real ask which seems reasonable by comparison. Section 4.4, dangerous examples. A man ingratiates himself into a widow's life, offers money advice, then absorbs assets. Or a partner convinces the other to quit a job for the relationship and then isolates them. These are not anomalies, they're blueprints. A man ingratiates himself into a widow's life, offers money advice, then absorbs assets. Or a partner convinces the other to quit a job for the relationship and then isolates them. These are not anomalies, they're blueprints. Section 4.5, moral boundaries, when persuasion becomes cruelty. If the persuaded person is worse off, if they acted against their interest, if harm is the probable result, you're in dark persuasion territory. Section 4.6, defenses and red flags. Watch for pressure to make decisions quickly. Flattery used as a prelude to ask, advice offered with no independent verification, and proposals that always benefit the speaker first. Get second opinions. Isolation is persuasion's best friend. Chapter 5, undetected mind control. Influence. You can't fight. Section 5.1, two domains, interpersonal and media. Undetected mind control works two ways: personal, one person shaping another's mind, and media, messages scaled to millions. With smartphones, any manipulator can reach billions. Section 5.2, the mind controller profile. Methodical, patient, cowardly about exposure, bold about results. These are puppet masters who hide their strings. Section 5.3, finding the vulnerable, the goal principle. People with pressing needs for money, affection, meaning are like tuned radios. The controller finds the station and broadcasts the message the victim most wants to hear. Section 5.4, tactics, interpersonal. Restricting choice, giving only two acceptable options so no isn't available. Mirroring, state transfer. Sync with someone, then change your state, and they follow. Anchoring and triggers. Link feelings to gestures, songs, places. Timed fatigue and sleep. Suggestion, plant ideas when defenses dip. Section 5.5, tactics, media. Subliminal imagery, images too fast to notice but potent enough to bias feelings. Sonic signatures and jingles, a melody that opens wallets. Micro-targeted content, social media ads that speak to your exact fear or desire. Echo chambers, algorithms that isolate you into a single worldview. Section 5.6, real-world media examples and warnings. Ad campaigns, political messaging, viral memes. When content combines emotion, repetition, and social proof, it becomes social engineering. Section 5.7, defend against undetected mind control. Limit sensational consumption, add friction before clicking. Diversify information sources. Discuss ideas with people who disagree. Most of all, notice emotional escalations triggered by content. Ask, who benefits if I believe this? Chapter 6, mind games, playful or deadly. Section 6.1, what are dark mind games? Not teasing, not flirting. Mind games, in the dark sense, are tricks played to test, humiliate, and erode the victim's certainty, often for the manipulator's amusement. Section 6.2, motivations, why people play mind games. Control, entertainment, testing limits, habit, sometimes ignorance. Some manipulators learn these moves and never outgrew them. Section 6.3, Signature Mind Games. Ultimatums, disguised demands that test willingness to sacrifice identity. Eternal breakup. Threat of leaving used like a metronome of insecurity. Hard to get, misused. Withdrawal later in relationships to create chasing. Different from healthy boundaries when used as punishment. The tease and punish loop. Alternation of warmth and cruelty to create dependency. Section 6.4, Psychological mechanisms behind mind games. Mind games weaponize cognitive biases, sunk cost, reciprocity, fear of loss. They're small but precise. The chip away, not the hammer. Section 6.5, Examples and danger signals. If someone repeatedly pressures you into proving loyalty or threatens to publicize private things to test you, they're gaming you, not bonding with you. Section 6.6, How to stop mind games. Name the game. Walk away. Build your social safety net. The only thing mind games fear is exposure. Chapter 7, Deception, the spectrum of lies. Here are the details. Section 7.1, Deception defined, more than lying. Deception equals causing someone to believe something untrue. Lying is one flavor. Omission, implication, fraud, all live on the deception spectrum. Section 7.2, Small lies, big damage. A tiny omission repeated can condition trust to the point where a grand fraud is accepted. Manipulators use small deceptions to pave the way for bigger ones. Section 7.3, Common deceptive domains. Money, criminality, marital status, feelings. Some lies are transactional. Money, fraud. Some are relational. Fake feelings, secret wives. The motive reveals the darkness. Section 7.4, Deceptive tactics. Lying, direct falsehoods embedded in a majority of truth. Implication, suggest without saying. Plausible deniability is a deceiver's armor. Omission, hiding salient facts by steering conversation elsewhere. Fraud, forged evidence, fake documents, staged props used as proof. Projection, accuse the target of the deceiver's own crimes to deflect suspicion. Section 7.5, Spotting deception, behavioral and contextual clues. Look for inconsistent narratives, evasive answers, over-detailed stories, and people who react angrily to questions. But remember, no single cue proves deception. Patterns do. Section 7.6, Remedies and digital hygiene. Verify cross-check. Ask for documents, corroboration, and independent sources. In the digital era, screenshots aren't proof. Provenance is. Research before you hand over money, time, or trust. Chapter 8, Hypnotism. Deep suggestion and subtle control. Section 8.1, What hypnosis really is. Not pocket watches. Real hypnotism is not stage spectacle. It's suggestion that reaches below your conscious guard into the default mode of the mind, where beliefs, feelings, and habits live. Section 8.2, Why hypnosis is potent. The subconscious gateway. We all have hidden circuits, dreams, gut feelings, automatic responses. Hypnosis aims at those pathways to install new software. Anchors, frames, future pacing. Section 8.3, Hypnotic tactics. Verbal masking, using similar sounding words to slip suggestions beneath awareness. Tone and mirroring, adopt someone's emotional cadence then slip in commands. Anchoring, link a feeling to a gesture or environment so the feeling can be triggered later. Reframing, change the meaning of events. This is not a loss, it's freedom. Future pacing, guide someone to vividly imagine a future behavior until it becomes likely to occur. Section 8.4, Nonverbal hypnosis, environment, gestures, eye movements. A jam-packed cafe tied to a negotiation. A song used at a particular moment. A wink. These physical cues are excellent hypnotic levers. Section 8.5, Who is most susceptible and why? Vulnerable people, those newly bereaved, unemployed, or isolated, are more suggestible. Situational triggers matter. Fatigue, stress, and repeated exposure lower defenses. Section 8.6 NLP and Ethics. When persuasion crosses the line, NLP tools work, and that is why they are double-edged. When used ethically, they help therapy and growth. When weaponized, they destroy autonomy. Section 8.7 Defending yourself from hypnotic influence. Be skeptical when someone pressures emotional visualization, tries to anchor feelings, or insists you see it in your mind. Ask for time, sleep on it, and get external advice. Chapter 9 The Dark Triad and the Dark Tetrad. Section 9.1 The Unholy Trinity. Machiavellianism, psychopathy, narcissism. The dark triad is 3 traits that predict manipulative, callous behavior. Together, they form a personality cocktail suited to exploitation. Section 9.2 Machiavellianism, the political mind. Machiavellians are strategists, image first, outcome focused, willing to break promises when it serves them. They practice politics as a body sport, chess, not conversation. Section 9.3 Psychopathy, charm without conscience. Psychopaths can be the most terrifying because they feel nothing others do. Superficially charming, often high-functioning, they can exploit ruthlessly and without remorse. Section 9.4 Narcissism, the need for worship. Narcissists live to be flattered. Criticism is poison. They build systems and people around their need to be admired and protected. Section 9.5 Sadism, the 4th pillar, dark tetrad. Sadism adds pleasure from another's pain. When present, manipulation becomes entertainment, and cruelty becomes an end in itself. Section 9.6 How the triad manifests in real life. Examples. Machiavellian CEO who keeps a benevolent public image while ruthlessly cutting staff. Psychopathic partner who is charming at the party, predatory in private. Narcissistic politician who demands symbolic worship. Sadist hidden in a role where their enjoyment of others' suffering is masked in policy or practice. Section 9.7 Detecting the triad and personal safety watch patterns. Calls for absolute loyalty, emotional exploitation, lack of empathy, and a habit of moral flexing when it benefits them. Keep distance, get witnesses, and document everything in high-risk situations. Chapter 10 Dark Psychological Seduction. The Devil's Art of Attraction. Section 10. Point 1. Why seduction is central to dark psychology. Sex, desire, and intimacy are the most potent levers of the human heart. Seduction is influence at its most personal. Section 10.2. Ethical versus dark. Seduction, where the line is drawn. Ethical seduction leaves both people better off. Dark seduction uses influence to take without consent or long-term care. Section 10.3. Seduction philosophies expanded. Structured systems, scripted phases used by pickup communities and manipulative coaches. Natural approach, inward development radiated outward, safer when honest. NLP/hypnotic seduction, anchors and triggers used to associate pleasure with the seducer. Section 10.4. Tactics that work and why. Indirect openers, start conversation with curiosity rather than sexual intent. Social proof, being seen with interesting people increases attractiveness. Challenge and tease, playful resistance stimulates interest. Closing and decisiveness, leading with choices and momentum rather than asking permission at every step. Section 10.5. When seduction becomes coercion, legal and moral lines. Consent requires full information and freedom. If someone uses deception or hypnotic anchors to bypass consent, that's coercion, and in many contexts, criminal. Section 10.6. How to protect yourself in dating contexts. Don't be rushed. Take time. Notice if the person avoids meaningful questions about their life. If details are inconsistent, verify. Keep friends in the loop. Trust your gut. Chapter 11. Case Studies. History's Most Dangerous Minds. Each case below is narrated as a compact documentary vignette with psychological insights and concrete takeaways. 11.1 Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. Charming, educated, able to blend into society, and horrifically violent. His case is a study in psychopathy, charm with zero empathy. Bundy taught us that predators often look like neighbors, volunteers, and boy-next-door types. The lesson: charisma is not a proof of trust. 11.2 Adolf Hitler, the modern Machiavelli. Hitler fused Machiavellian strategy with propaganda and sadism. Mass psychology, staged spectacles, and manufactured enemies produced obedience. This is political dark psychology at scale. 11.3 Rasputin, charisma, trance, and influence. Rasputin wielded religious mystique to bend the Russian elite. He used trance-like presence and covert emotional manipulation to secure influence. 11.4 MK Ultra, state-sponsored manipulation. MK Ultra proved that instruments of a state will attempt mind control when they believe it's in their interest. Drugs, sleep deprivation, and psychological coercion were used. Ethics were tossed. 11.5 Charles Ponzi, Gregor McGregor, the con artist's playbook. From Ponzi's confidence to McGregor's invented kingdoms, con men sell a believable vision. They find greed, then craft a narrative that peels away skepticism. Takeaway: if something is just too good and relies on social proof rather than verifiable evidence, walk away. 11.6 Jonestown and Jim Jones, mass brainwashing and isolation. Jonestown is the blueprint for how isolation, charismatic certainty, and absolute control end in tragedy. Mass suicide and horror. 11.7 Patty Hearst and SLA, Stockholm Syndrome and forced conversion. Hearst became part of the group that kidnapped her, a textbook case of forced identity change under extreme duress. Takeaway: severe coercion and sensory deprivation can create deep, automatic alignment, even against one's prior values. 11.8 Modern terrorist recruitment, internet-enabled brainwashing. Terror groups use online propaganda to find the vulnerable, then groom them into offline networks. The internet accelerated old recruiting tactics. Takeaway: monitor online radicalization vectors and encourage diversified social contact for vulnerable youth. Conclusion: light at the end of the tunnel. Closing reflection: you now have a map of the most dangerous minds and the tools they use. You've seen how manipulation operates from subtle relational gaslighting to mass brainwashing. You're equipped to see what others can't, and that's the first line of defense. Final ethical note: knowledge is power, and power demands responsibility. Use these lessons to shield yourself, protect loved ones, and expose manipulators. Resist the temptation to weaponize them for harm. If you do, remember, you become what you fight. Practical checklist, short and memorable. When in doubt, verify, add friction, get a second opinion, name the behavior, document, and when needed, distance yourself. If this helped you, you know what to do. Share it with someone who needs to see this. Subscribe for more deep dives into how influence shapes the world. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and most of all, stay free. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. And remember, the mind is the last sanctuary. Guard it well. I will see you in next amazing video related to dark psychology of mankind.